If there's something we use a lot in the car, it's the horn. We use it every single time we drive. And yet, is there any rule about how to use the horn? Well, yes, there is. Although we use it a lot, we hardly know its rules. So today we're going to talk about when we can use it, when we shouldn't use it, and how we should use it. First of all, let's start with a few situations in which we should not use the horn. And I think the most obvious situation is when we see someone we know in the street and we want to say hello to him or her. No, it is not normal to honk the horn like a madman if we see our friend cross the street. And of course, we're not going to honk like a madman if we go looking for someone and we want to tell him or her that we have arrived. Nowadays, we use our phones for that. Another situation where we don't use the horn is when we're stuck in a traffic jam. Even if we're in a hurry, honking like a psychopath won't clear the road like magic. Some people seem to believe that the vibrations created by the sound of their horn will disintegrate the vehicles in front of them. But it doesn't work like that. When we're stuck in a traffic jam, we're stuck in a traffic jam. There's nothing we can do. Maybe we can turn on some music and try to relax. And of course, we don't honk like a madman. We don't honk either if we're walking and we want to tell someone that they should let us cross the street. No, we don't honk like a madman. It's not the horn's job to clear the road. Another thing we don't do is honk to warn a cyclist of our arrival. For example, if we're riding a bike, the best thing is to ring the bell. With the horn, we only warn drivers. Of course, we don't honk to warn walkers of our arrival either. Honking to warn another vehicle of our presence is only allowed on private roads. So if there's a vehicle parked in a place where vehicles aren't supposed to be parked, maybe on the sidewalk, on the lawn, or on the road, and it doesn't move, well, we can honk. Otherwise, there's nothing we can do about it. And of course, we don't honk to flirt. If we want to meet people, there are better ways to do it. So these are the most obvious situations. Here are a few less obvious ones, but for which we shouldn't use the horn impulsively. When there's a big vehicle in front of us that should move, but it doesn't. Here, we could ask ourselves, if the car in front of us has passed, why is it still there? Because pedestrians are crossing. But we can't see them because the vehicle in front of us is big, so I don't honk, I wait. Here, the driver in front of me doesn't move from the other side of the intersection. So she does what she has to do. She stays there so as not to block the intersection. But often, people don't even make an effort to know what's going on. And they're going to honk like crazy in a situation like this. So before jumping on the horn, we try to understand what's going on. Here, I can see that it doesn't move forward through the car windows. If the vehicle moves forward, we can see that the driver is gesturing with his hand. So he's telling me that he's waiting for someone. So I'm going to be patient. And after a moment, the problem is solved, and the driver lets me pass. But if I had honked, the problem wouldn't have been solved. Something else we don't do is honk if someone doesn't let us pass. In a situation like this, it doesn't make sense to honk. The other person already knows that we are there. They're even looking at us. If we honk, the reaction of the other person will be to get upset. He's already letting me pass. What else do you want? And of course, we don't honk to tell someone that they parked badly. This happens a lot. We find someone parked badly in a parking space, and we're angry. But you have to calm down. No, we don't honk like a madman because the driver isn't going to move like magic. Now, something I recommend we do in certain situations is look through the interior rear view mirror, the one in the middle, to see if there are vehicles coming behind us. For example, if we're on a narrow road and we don't know if there's a vehicle coming, we look back. And if we see that there's a vehicle coming, we let it pass. And if there's no vehicle coming, we can continue calmly on our way. And now, some circumstances where we can and should use the horn. Nowadays, people are no longer able to take their eyes off their phones, even while driving. So we see a lot of people distracted by red lights. When the light turns green, they stay there. So in this case, we don't need to honk vigorously. 1 or 2 little hits are enough for them to stop looking at pictures of their friend's breakfast. When a driver makes a maneuver and doesn't see that there's a vehicle behind him, we can warn him with a quick double beep. This driver in front is looking for something in his car. A little hit is enough. However, in a situation like this, the driver of the truck can use the horn with more enthusiasm. The driver of the red truck seems to be either distracted or wants to change lanes and doesn't seem to see the truck. Which is strange because a truck is not the smallest vehicle we've ever seen. But in a situation like this, we can use the horn with more motivation. We really want the other driver to know that we are there. The difference between these two situations is that in this one, there is no danger, while in this one, there is one. So in case of a collision risk, we can use our horn in a more aggressive way. And we can also use it for others, not just for ourselves. For example, once I was waiting behind other vehicles at a red light next to one of these parking spaces near the sidewalk where people usually go out backwards. There was someone who was about to go out and there was a child who was about to pass behind his car. The driver didn't see the child because he was looking at the central rearview mirror and the child didn't realize that the driver was about to hit him. So I honked, and in this case, I really honked. The reaction that people have in a situation like this is to break and look around them to see what's going on. So it gave the driver and the child time to realize what was going on. In conclusion, in situations where people are stopped and simply distracted and where there is no apparent real danger, 1 or 2 small honks are enough. If there is a danger of collision, we don't hesitate to honk with more motivation. Do you know what's funny? Once I received a comment from a viewer saying, "Can you do a video about the horn?" You don't know how many people don't know how to use the horn. I found it very curious because I never thought anyone would say that. But then I realized that it makes sense. Everyone uses the horn, but no one really knows its rules. I mean, how many times have you been in a situation where you didn't know if you should honk or not? I don't know about you, but it happens to me quite often. What about when we're reversing? Do you look back mainly with your head or mainly with your mirrors? Tell me in the comments, and of course, stay tuned for more videos. And see you soon. Bye.